for the cause of Christ. Somebody come with you with a sword and says, what mark are you taking? The mark of God or the mark of the beast? And if you say the mark of God, what will they do? They'll cut your head off. Okay, we got off there a little bit. Okay. But for a testament, there always had to be the shedding of blood. That's the reason Christ had to shed his blood for us.
Gene, I'm confused about this word testament. A minute ago you said something about the difference between it, and you said they were both covenants.
It's a testament is just,
Testament, the root word there is testimony.
yes.
That's something you testify to. How is that interpreted as a contract or a commitment or a covenant? Testament.
You're testifying that you believe in Jesus Christ and he came to save your soul.
Right, but that's not a covenant.
Yes, that is a covenant.
Or is that your covenant to God?
That's your covenant between you and Jesus. Jesus is your priest and he is your connection to God.
Okay. There you go.
Okay, verse 17. It says, for a testament is enforced after men are dead. It's kind of like a will. When does that will become valid?
Somebody's dead.
Mhm.
That somebody's dead.
As long as that person is still alive, his will is nothing but what?
Piece of paper.
Well, promises, is it not? It does not come effect until after the person's will is dead. Verse 18 it says, therefore not even the first covenant was dedicated without blood. For when Moses had spoken every precept of all the people according to the law, he took the blood of calves and goats with water, scarlet wool, hyssop, and sprinkled both the book itself and all the people, saying, this is the blood of the covenant which God has commanded you. Now what is he doing here? See, they did have blood in the Old Testament, but what did it really do? Could it really seal anything? It was just a symbol. That blood was just a symbol of the blood that was to come. Verse 21 it says, then likewise he sprinkled the blood on both the tabernacle and all the vessels of the ministry. And according to the law, almost all things were purified with blood. And without the shedding of blood, there was no remission of sin. Very important verse. Most of us have that verse memorized. The blood of those animals were used to purify. But really, did they in itself purify? No. It was just a symbol to the true high priest on the order of Melchizedek. Remember, even David said, there is a high priest in the order, another order coming along. Go back and read Psalms 110. That this covenant will last forever. Even David said that. Even Jeremiah told him that. Why are the Jews having such a hard time with that? We talked about last week. Everybody's always looking for a better way, are we not? Do you use anything in your daily life that is obsolete? We talked about last week. Our grandmothers and those washboards. They're not going back to washboards, are they?
No, but I still use one of those old egg beaters.
Yes.
I do.
Is it obsolete?
No, because you can still buy them.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you meant in your laundry.
Yes. But we were talking about a while ago, every time I look at an antique, oh, it's beautiful and pretty, but like I said before, boy, I'm glad I don't have to use that thing on a daily basis anymore.
Yeah.
Y'all think the same thing?
Yeah.
Of course you do.
I thank God I don't have to use lye soap anymore.
Why do they have such a hard time accepting the new and the better way? Okay, and getting into the true heart of the message, 23 through the end of the chapter. Therefore, it was necessary that the copies of these things in heaven should be purified with these, but the heavenly things themselves with better sacrifices than these. For Christ has not entered the holy places made with hands, which were copies of the truth, but into heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of God for us. Not that he should offer himself often, as the high priest enters the most holy place every year with blood of another. Now that high priest had to go in that Holy of Holies. When? Once a year. Even though it was once a year, it was again and again and again, was it not? How often on the outer courts did they offer the sacrifices?
Every day.
It was an ongoing process. We talked about before, it's all temporary. We talked about that a priest only served from age 25 to 50. I thought being a priest would be a cushy job. But having studied it, it was a very difficult task. Okay. It says, he then should have to suffer often since the foundation of the world. That says if Jesus was like the high priest, he would have to suffer over and over and over again. Hence, every time we sin, he would have to suffer some more. This is the doctrine of perpetual offering. I have a Catholic friend. No matter what he did during the week, every Sunday morning he would go to Mass. Why is that? To get those sins forgiven. If he missed that Mass, what would happen? Well, to him those sins would not be forgiven. If you see a crucifix, what's on the crucifix? Why is that? He is continually paying for those sins that we committed. The doctrine of perpetual offering. But our crosses, is Jesus on that cross?
No.
Why? He has already paid for the sins, past, present, and future. Before the foundation of the world. He paid for them, did he not? I made the promise. It was just fulfilled on Calvary. The payment was made at Calvary. How were Old Testament saints saved? They didn't have the cross. How were they saved? Just like we were. But they were saved on credit. We're saved looking back to the cross. They were saved looking to the cross. Remember what I said about little Abel a while ago? He says, my mother said, one is coming who through faith in him will get us our crown back again. He says, I don't understand it, but I believe that's what's going to happen somehow, some way. That's what he would have told you. And this sacrifice represents him. That's the reason. We go back to Ephesians chapter 4. Christ went into the center of the world, center of the earth, and led captivity captive. What does that mean? See, the spirits of the Old Testament saints could not go into heaven, into the presence of God. Why? Because the promises had been made, but the price had not been paid. It had not been paid. So one of the first things that Christ did, he went into the paradise and led captivity captive. What does that mean? He got them all out, did he not? On that side. And took them to heaven with him. It's talking about the age of acclamation. What is it? What do we talk about there?